You heard me?
You should be able to hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me, King?
Yes, I can.
It's not letting me hear you again this week. Be so many issues. Can you guys hear both of us?
Hello. He said we hear y'all.
Just out of curiosity.
Attic doesn't never let me know that we're alive.
They should be able to hear both of us.
Yeah, they do. That's what the chat said.
All right, can you hear me, King?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. What is that?
I was able to hear you the whole time.
Oh, I had to like change you up on again. I don't know what would be going on with that. All right,
I'm
so
mad as hell right now, boy.
they can hear you.
I know.
Okay, just making sure.
I'm happy though. I got a chance to meet Brian. And we made the trade. So Wolverine is gone, and my PlayStation Pro is in the house, and my experiment shall begin. No, he can hear me now. He had to adjust his stuff.
There we go. Just making sure I'm not blurry. Am I blurry to you?
To me, you look fine to me. A little blurry. You look a little blurry though.
There we go. That should be good now.
There you go.
What's going on, guys? We're here, man. We're here. We got some stuff to talk about this week. You know, we got some Last of Us stuff to talk about, man. Did you watch the Last of Us show?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I watched it too. I actually watched it with the Weapon Wheel people, but I have seen it, and we're here to talk about it. First off, let's get to the homework. Did you get a chance to watch any Attack on Titan, or?
No.
Yeah,
I did not get a chance to watch any Attack on Titan because technically this is supposed to be my day to watch Attack on Titan, so I can go into it fresh. But being what's happening and transpiring tomorrow, and I do apologize for anybody that was listening to me eat. Attic didn't tell me that we were live. Yes, of course, guys. Yes, of course. So anyway, so yeah, I watched The Last of Us today. And boy, do I have a lot to say.
I'm curious, man. I'm curious what you have to say. So I guess we'll go and get straight into Last of Us. Let's talk about overall opinion on the matter. Without we're not going to get into spoilers right now.
Yeah, no.
But I am curious to hear your opinion on the in general. So what was your opinion on it? No spoilers.
I'm a huge Neil Druckmann fan. Huge. For the ability to think outside of the box, to come up with the thought process to have instead of our demise as a species be fungal instead of bacterial. That's a whole different concept that a lot of scientists was probably dismissing, and the game itself showed how deadly it could be. Right. So again, we are brought into this world by the genius mind of Neil, and taken down this path of a journey of Joel. Right, and then he finds Ellie, and they have this weird dynamic, and a lot of that stuff is broached about in the video game too much because excuse me, the medium wants you to explore. The movie or the show wants to tell, and there's a lot of extras being told excuse me, that wasn't told to us in the video game, and I love it because I'm talking with my wife, walking her through a lot of the process because she's like, "Oh my god, this is crazy." But the process of it is certain things didn't happen in the video game, so I'm telling her this is totally new for me, and the backgrounds of it is incredible. The scene setup in the show is probably like 1 to 1 with the video game as far as the aesthetics. I mean, they really captured the whole vibe of the game, really down to, I mean, the casting is spot on for every character. Like so far that I've met in this first episode, the background that you didn't know about with a lot of pieces, set pieces from the video game, is talked about in the early stages of the show. I thought that it was very thoughtful in the approach and the reverence that they had for the source material. The source material is really championed. The source material is really stuck to in a manner that it gives it wiggle room, but it doesn't stifle it. If you can get the understanding, like a lot of things that wasn't said is being said now, and a lot of things that wasn't explained from the game is being explained now, and it's a real treat for a fan of the series, and it's a real treat for somebody that has no idea what it is because I went in as a fan of the series, and my wife went in as she has no idea what's going on. She's completely oblivious to the world, completely oblivious to the characters. We just saw Pedro Pascal in is this movie called The Bubble that's on Netflix, and his range as an actor is very broad. You know, to play the Mandalorian, to play that character, to play this character, and to give you a sense, I got a sense that he was Joel. I got a sense that he embraced the character, and I'm really looking forward to it to see how far he takes the Joel character and how deep he can go with the emotions of the what's going to happen because I know like stuff that is going to happen and I just can't wait to see it unfold in front of me.
Yeah, I have to actually agree. I actually, originally I was a little skeptical of Pedro being cast as Joe,
Right.
but after seeing this, because it's hard to like visualize Joe and not Joe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there's this one scene where he's speaking to like a guard, and it
Mm-hmm.
felt just like Joe was talking. Like if like this
Yeah.
mannerism, how he carries himself. I really like the casting now. I feel like, people's like, oh, he's not white though. It's like, dude, Pedro look like. Let's be real here. He looks close enough to Joel, like his actual appearance. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just like I think they did a good job. I think Pedro definitely stole the show. In that episode, I felt like him and Tess, especially Tess did a really good job too. She
Yeah.
was a really good 1-to-1. It just,
That was crazy, right?
yeah, watching this made me even more upset that we could have more stuff like this, but we don't get stuff like this. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, Last of Us in terms of writing is probably some of the best writing in games,
Right.
like the original Last of Us. But
Yeah.
the part that like irritates me is like my issues I have with something like Halo. I felt like the original Halo and the Halo story is good enough to be on TV, told through live action. But I'm tired of these people deciding they want to put their own spin on it. No, go make something else then, like something fresh. Because you see in Last of Us, they kept it almost 1-for-1 on the game so far,
Right.
and it was really good.
I'm gonna say this because I'm the only person that's gonna push back on that. Um, The problem with it is, yes, you want to cater to the core audience. Yes, you want to um bring across that story that they hold so dear, but you want to do it with a little twist because see now in this instance you have the ability to add so many different layers to it, right? And it still stays the same, still stays familiar. You don't have the people up in arms, but then there's the extra that we all want to know. Okay, so that works there. If a director goes into a space and they see Halo as one thing, that's what they're going to bring across to the screen. They're going to read the source material and they're going to say, well, I had an idea where this idea could have been a little bit better over here. And I'm going to do this. And that's how you get Master Chief with his helmet off and his cheeks out. Right. And it doesn't fit well with the core audience, and the core audience doesn't like certain things. And then you have people complaining about them not sticking to the source material. So, but then there's instances where the source material is stuck to and it becomes too predictive in nature. I don't want the predictability of it, right? I'm sitting there watching this, and then when they went to scenes where it wasn't in the game or this scene wasn't there, I'm like, okay, this is more. It felt like DLC for something that's already written. So there's a fine line to walk. I wanted to know, is Neil Druckmann really a part of the directing in this? So,
Apparently, he co-directed it, but that could mean anything. Like, we don't know if he was
but he
like,
could have been a consultant standing right there, making sure that source material is being followed. You understand that they don't go off script, and Joe was doing a jig in the middle of the park with a fungus infected dude. I'm just saying, I think it makes sense to have the owners, the writers, the creators there to oversee such projects of this magnitude, because he understands what the core fan base is about, because he cultivated and made the fan base. So I think that's necessary to have when you're writing or when you're directing projects of this magnitude. And,
so.
and and it's a very big project. For me, it is.
What you're saying is you feel like since Neil was there and he was probably had a lot of pull in the direction of the show was going, he was like the gamer voice that like,
Yes.
look, you got to keep it to the core to some degree. We can't deviate too much. It's okay to do some things, but it's like, but as far as like the actual story, we can't deviate from that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that he was standing there saying, yo, Joel will never do that, or Elliot never do that. Or Sarah, the way that I crafted Sarah is this type of person. And I think those voices is necessary. Not the Twitter voices, but the voices of said creators is necessary on set. I don't think they should do these movies or shows in a void, devoided of the creators' thoughts and their opinions. I think it's necessary in order to get a project just like this, because this feels like The Last of Us. You can't tell me you didn't walk away from this episode saying that didn't feel like The Last of Us.
It felt almost 1-to-1, to be honest
Yes.
with you. Like, and what I like what they did is they put a couple like wrenches in it to where
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is what they did in the game, but we're gonna change it up slightly so it is some kind of new knowledge coming into you, some kind of new information, but at the same time we're not going to deviate from what actually happened. Like, what happened is set in stone, but we're going to change some of the little things in the middle to either heighten what was going on and make it make more sense, or to change it up so at least the gamers have some form of, oh, that just happened.
And let me tell you something. I walked away from this saying Jim Ryan is a genius. He saw the project. He probably been involved in the project. He probably watched the project and made sure that the Last of Us remake remaster was done. Because anybody with a PlayStation 5, uh, the new product for the new people coming in that has a yearning for more knowledge or more control over the characters or the environment, or just supreme fans, will get this product, and it would get it at a highest fidelity that it has been produced so far. You know, I think that's important because you have a great project, and then you have one of the best stories ever written for video games in its pristine condition. That's something that you want to present to the fan base. So whereas some people looked at it as a money grab, like myself, who was initially there from the beginning ride, I don't think so that much anymore after watching this show. And it was a great judgment call on Jim's part to make sure that it was told and shown in that manner, in my opinion.
And to be honest with you, it looks good with the game too. It's
Yeah,
just like, when factions come out. Not to mention, part one just came out. Part two's been out. Like, people watch these couple episodes, and especially gamers that maybe, you got a bunch of casual people that's just gonna slip in and touch the sand. They're not gonna really jump in it. They don't really game like that. They play Madden, they play FIFA, they play 2K, Call of Duty, and then they leave. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
now, since they see something like this, well, okay, I got a PlayStation. Maybe I should give this game a try.
They
And
might
then,
stick around.
yeah, and then if they end up liking the other one, which is Last of Us, they end up liking Last of Us and Last of Us Part 2. Now they're probably going to push more sales on Last of Us Part 3 by
Yeah.
just making this TV show as good as it has been already.
Yep. Because I was explaining to my wife, when I was playing The Last of Us 2, that was the first video game where I had a real sense of fear to move my controller, right? I told us I cried like a blithering idiot at a particular point in the game because I became so attached to a character that I couldn't fathom something happening to the character. And it was eminent that at that point in time that something traumatic was going to happen, and it was a choice that I didn't want to make. And I said, that's the first time in video games. This is why I hold Neil in such high regard. That's the first time in video games that I had that level of trepidation with a controller in my hand, and it was a different emotion that was brought across to the crowd. I don't care how anybody feels about The Last of Us 2. My position on it is it's probably the gold standard in storytelling in a video game for me.
So I have a side by side on the screen chat where it shows Joel in the game and Pedro as Joe, and like, look, clearly there's differences,
Yeah.
but no one cannot look at these two individuals and tell me that you couldn't confuse one for the other. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I do feel like they did it, man. They did a good job with that. I felt like there was multiple times where, sure, I know that that's not Joel,
Yeah.
but it was like, man, he did a good job though. Like he did. And what you obviously, let's get into spoilers. Clearly, I think we've done as much as I guess. Let's get into spoilers and then we'll rate it.
Okay.
All right. So spoiler
Okay,
alert.
we're gonna do some spoilers right now, guys.
Show.
And if you didn't watch the show, leave and come back in probably like 15 minutes. And then you'll be good, because I'm not gonna go too heavy. I mean, it was probably an hour long show, or 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah. Apparently, some of the run times is like, it's like movies. Like an hour and 45 minutes, like an hour and 30 minutes for a TV show is ridiculous.
That's crazy.
But you know what's crazy? By the time I finished that, sure, I knew that it was a long episode, but I wasn't disappointed. I didn't feel like it was too much. I was like, man, first thing I thought is, I can't wait till next week. That's the first thing that come to my mind. And the good thing, King, is at this point, man, we've gotten to the point where that doesn't happen a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, to get generally excited over something like that, I would honestly say that doesn't happen a lot at all. Most of the time, we know what most of these games are going to come out and do. We know what most of these movies and TVs are going to do. But I will say, since it was a video game, it was a question mark. We didn't really truly know if they
No,
were going to be able to hit it out of the park. And the fact that I got to hand it off to Sony, I have an issue of how they handled Halo. I know you liked it more than I did, but I felt like Sony is handling the brand outside of gaming way better than Microsoft is currently. Clearly, we got to see what happens in the new season of Halo,
I
but I
don't
felt
blame
like,
Microsoft for that stuff.
but I mean, they at the end they are in charge of it, man. Like they could
They
tell them
should have
no. I'm
had
sure they read scripts. I'm sure they have a lot of say in what goes on with their own IP in a movie, in a TV show.
uh, mismanagement, bro. I mean, because then because you look at this and you say this is done in this manner. It's a different story that wanted to be told, and you have to ask yourself: are you going to follow the books? Or are you going to follow the game? Or are you going to follow your own intuition? What are you going to do? And this is why I feel that the creators are supposed to be there to tell you what is and what isn't. What Master Chief would do and what he won't do. My Master Chief will not have his butt cheeks out inside the in any part of the film. That's just me. The helmet thing. It was some scenes in the game where he would take his helmet off, but you would never see his face. So that's permissible, but these actors also want to be seen. I guess me and you went through that already, and we talked about that. But we have almost 90 people here, and we have 30 likes. Please hit that
Hit
like
that like
button.
button, guys. Hit that
Um,
like button.
we're trying to grow something, and you guys are the keys to help us grow. All right, so into the spoilers. The initial spoiler that I can go with, and I don't really want to go too hard on the spoilers, to be honest with you, because this package is so dope. But Sarah, his kid, I have a deeper appreciation for his sense of loss as a father because of all he tried to do to keep her, safe. Uh, Joel is very deep in family. He believes in family above all. He loves the hell out of his brother. He loves the hell out of his daughter. And they had such a nice bond in the short early on in the film. They were able, you saw them eating breakfast and her making jokes with her dad, and
Way
she was a
better than the
large.
game.
None of that. We got none of that.
Yeah,
She was
way
such a
better than the
large
game.
part of his sense of home. Everybody has a sense of home. If you go home, you see a dog, you have a sense of home. You go home, see your
And
wife, your kids.
and you could kind of understand. Like I will say in the original one, I couldn't really put myself in a mindset like that because it was so fast.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And to my knowledge, I think they aged Sarah, didn't they? Sarah
Yeah.
was
She
normally
was
that.
she was younger, but they
She was
needed
like
to
in
do
high school
that.
or something.
They needed to do that in order to show how she was able to go and do what she had to do for Joe for his birthday. Because we come in on his birthday, we come in on his birthday scene, and it's just like the game, but a lot of things was missing from that aspect of it and was told here. This is the great stuff about this medium where they can just tell and you don't have to control anything. And it was told great. The whole opening act where the pandemic starts and how it starts from Sarah's perspective, and then till we got to Joel and how Joel had to be the family protector, even though he had to harm his neighbor. Where he cared much for his neighbors. He did, because if you're going to send your child over to your neighbor's house without any supervision, you must have some level of love
Yeah, and
or
what's funny is
feel like responsible.
when you get to the point where you're joking about sending your kid to your neighbors, then you have a really good relationship with them because it's a joke at
Right.
that point.
Exactly. So, that I love that aspect of it. The little something, those little nuggets for us fans that they brought across. And how she died at that moment, and how the brothers they will always have each other. You felt that, like he cared for his brother because it's like, yo, I'm gonna get you safe, and then I'm going back to go get, Tommy. Man, in those little instances, those are little tear jerker moments because there are things that's transpiring and happening. My wife was like, "Oh my God, no." I knew Sarah wasn't going to be around, for the second act of this opening bell. It was just like, yeah, absolutely. It was heartbreaking. Heartbreaking.
Yeah,
And the actors handled it with such class. And then you have that 20-year jump because remember, he's 35 at this point in time. So now is a 20-year jump. He's 55 now, where he gets the chance to meet Ellie. And the encampment, the level of government oversight that breaks everything down into these little dystopian environments. It was just so disgusting because they build walls around, and that's when I thought about Attack of Titan. I laughed so much because I'm like, we're always building walls around to keep everything out and keep us in. But truly, are we really safe? We're not really safe if they really decide to attack. And the little jobs that Joel had to take, but Joel had to, is a one scene that bothered me so much, and I'm pretty sure it's going to bother a couple of people. But Joel had to take a kid and toss him into fire, a dead kid. He had to toss him into the fire.
yeah, that was a crazy moment. They because the kid clearly was infected, and
Mm-hmm.
they're like, "Look, we're gonna give you this medicine, then we're gonna give you food, and let you play with your favorite toy." They're trying to soothe him because she knew they were about to kill him because he was
Yeah,
infected.
and the lady that he was working with couldn't do it. She was like, I can't do that one. But Joel had the man up, and he picked her up, and he had to throw her in the fire. And coming from a man who lost his kid, you know how hard your heart has to be at that point.
It, and I think the reason he got so cold hearted throughout those years is because he lost Sarah, and he probably in a way blames himself for Sarah's death. So he's going throughout this entire apocalypse like the reason that I lost her is because I wasn't cold hearted enough. I could have did something else. Maybe
Yeah,
I couldn't go look for my brother, and that's resulted in all that happening, and the chain reactions throughout the years has made him that cold. You know what I like though is how they built the relationship with Joel and Tommy. Like,
yeah,
because in the original one, he didn't leave because Tommy was missing.
yeah,
In this one, they're like, we're gonna give him a reason to leave, but Ellie just shows up out of nowhere, which is like an add-on. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay,
yep,
we're going that way anyway, so let's just drop this chick off, get this vehicle, so we could go to him quicker. What I like is just how well it was done. So let's talk about it though. Ellie, how did you feel like Ellie did?
I don't, okay, so casting wise, you got Pedro who looks just like Joe. Oh man, kid, you couldn't miss that casting with a baseball, but you couldn't miss it. You couldn't miss it at all. He, he was Joe. He walked in there. I'm pretty sure that they was like, got him, sign him up, whatever he wants, put him inside the bag. We got him. Her, on the other hand, I really didn't like her as an actress in a Star Wars thing that I seen, and I feel personally like I got some type of ownership over Ellie. Um like 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 I own the character. I know the character. She doesn't look like the character because we know who she's supposed to look like. That actress that plays in what's that the Umbrella Academy.
The Umbrella Academy.
Yeah. We know that, well, supposedly, supposed to be like her, but I had
Didn't
to
she
take it for
take them to
face
court over
value.
that?
Was I what?
Didn't she take them to court over Ellie looking
Yeah,
too
yeah,
much
she
like
did.
her?
They did because they
And
never
she
asked her
lost
for her
too, didn't she?
license. Yeah, they didn't, but that's why she looks a little bit so different when it comes to The Last of Us 2. Uh, but she was Ellie. Her acting chops brought it through. You said she was great in Game of Thrones, King. Okay. If you say so, I just couldn't stand her. It doesn't matter, but she was great here. She was I don't know, man. As you become so entrenched in these characters as video game players. We believe we know what Simon Belmont would do or what Sonic would do in this case or what Mario would do. I want to know the level of scrutiny that Mario movie is going to get, which is going to be nuts. But I had to let go and watch and put aside whatever bias that I had preemptively and just release and just watch the show. And she definitely came to play. She had her bars risen to where Pascal was, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be really good. This is gonna be really good. So
I
I'm
I,
I mean,
I still don't like the casting. I don't. As far as like aesthetic look, I still don't think she looks much like Ellie. Maybe she's around the same height that Ellie is, but as far
yeah,
as like visually, I can't. Joel and Pedro, it's kind of easy to see the two as one, but her, I find it really hard. And but I can't front. She plays Ellie good,
right.
but it's just the looks, man.
And
Like
that's where I was.
it's
I was with
so
it with
hard
you.
to look past that. Like
But let me ask you a question. Did you watch it with anybody that never played the video game?
no,
My wife said she's fantastic. And I'm
and
sitting there with some imaginary hate inside myself, like, oh, she doesn't. Like,
and, and I guess we're just gonna have to get over that clearly because she's already been cast. The
yep,
show has already been filmed, so there's no going back at this point. And it's just like I guess I'd rather her look not like Ellie and play a good Ellie than her look like Ellie and play a bad Ellie. So
yeah,
especially like she has the mannerisms that Ellie has. She always dropping some cuss words. Like she remember when she got the knife. Like
oh my God.
she threw that bag at her and she went straight for that knife.
Hell yeah. Pokey poke ain't no joke.
Yeah, what I like is there at the end when she stabbed the guard,
Yeah,
because she knew that she was gonna test negative,
yeah,
and she'd rather get the jump on him at that point than give him the opportunity to jump on them.
yeah.
It was good, man. Did you see the preview for the next episode?
No, I don't like doing previews.
Well, it showed it at the end of the episode.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
it,
didn't watch it.
apparently that's when the clickers are supposed to show up. The first clicker,
Mm,
and like it showed like a scene of them like against some kind of mirror,
hmm.
and you hear them in the background, and you hear Ellie's like, "Are they hard to kill?" Like, and no, she says, "Have you killed one?" And he says, "Yes." And she says, "Are they hard to kill?" And then it just goes off. Like,
Well, I can't wait for the second episode. I'm gonna probably rewatch this episode again because it was so good. Um, I tend to do that, just much like video games where you play a level and the level is so good, you're like, let me go back and play that level again. So yeah, I'll probably do that. I do have a yearning to go back and play the game,
the
and I
game,
know that sounds a little bit weird, but I really do have a feeling to go back in and play this game again because it's. I mean, I have it there. I'm trying to debate. Do I get the PlayStation 5 new version of the game in its highest fidelity and to see it through those eyes, or do I wait for the remake of this game for the TV show? I don't know what I'll do, but I'm on board. I'm on board for this. I thought it would be something different. I thought I have something negative to say, but I don't have a negative word to say about this.
nothing at all. And I really thought I wasn't gonna like this. Like I can't imagine. I didn't. I honestly didn't think they were gonna do it because I've been burned so many times with TV shows, and you hear about them not doing the spores and some of the casting questioning, and it's just like this is about the bomb. like, but
Yeah,
they
that one
surprised me.
scene, that one scene when they had the you know how they went down to the bottom and they saw the decomposing guy against the wall, you know, the fungus.
And how like reactionary she was. Like
Right.
they knew what that was. Like,
He said is a the PlayStation version is a mint diamond. Yeah, send me the code.
all right. So I guess we'll move on to the next topic. Did you see that the next trailer for
Mandalorian.
the Mandalorian is about to come out? Did you see that? It's apparently it'll probably be out by like in an hour. Maybe it's out already. It's
No,
supposed to
I
come
did
out
not
during
see
the
that. That's
football
why I was
game today.
asking you, why is the Mandalorian there?
It's supposed to come out in a football game or something. Cog sent it to me.
Yes, I
So
watched The Wire. What are you crazy? Did I watch The Wire? Are you nuts? I watched every season of The Wire. I know where Stringer Bell came from. I'm an Omar dude. Come on, stop it. Stop it.
so when it comes to the Mandalorian, do we have a release date on the next season? Like season 3, I think they're on
Not
season
that I
3.
know of. I'm watching The Bad Batch right now, man. Don't get me all hobbed up on baby Grogu who's down here in my little cabinet.
So, what is your hopes for this show?
More baby Grogu. More baby Yoda.
Is that all it's
More
gonna
baby
take?
Yoda. More people hate baby Yoda. I love him.
Why do people hate him?
Well, I got a lot of dudes that felt that the Mandalorian became a simp because he was looking out for this little kid. And listen, Disney gonna sell whatever Disney gonna sell. He's a huge hit. Future Yoda is gone, right? So of well, you know, grown Yoda is gone. So now we got baby Yoda. We need that race to survive. You know, Yaddle is no longer around. That was the female Yoda. Um, so we have Grogu from that race. So hopefully they can explore more of where they're at. Or that's such a mysterious race, and they really need to find out more about it. Um, I'm just on the ride for whatever the Mandalorian brings. I thought it was great storytelling. You know, Pedro Pascal has linked himself to a lot of good franchises and things that's going
Yeah,
to
because
take his
he's
name
the
very far.
Mandalorian too.
Yeah, that's why. That's the only reason why I was like, oh, he put that there because we just watched him. I have no idea why you put him there.
Yeah, they a new episode. I mean, a new trailer is launching today.
Oh, March 1st for Mando.
Oh, so that's soon.
Yeah.
That's 2
He said
months.
that ain't no baby. That's a grown ass man. Yeah, he 50 years old.
You know what I really look forward to this show
Right.
is when every topic is a new episode that week of the week. You know what I'm saying? Like we talk about the next episode of Mandalorian, the next episode of Last of Us, the next episode of this.
Well, you know what I think is going to happen? I think the same week we get a chance to watch Ant-Man, uh, it'll be a new episode of Last of Us. You know, so hopefully we have some more stuff in there too. Listen, guys, we're really pushing it. Pushing the limits of this movie going stuff. Gathering information, sitting down to actually watch things and review it and watch it with a discerning eye that we can come back and bring that information. So it's been such a fun ride to try to explore this stuff. And Attic is working very hard in the background, to get the show to where we both envision it to being. So yeah, man, it's the Mandalorian, March 1st. Can't wait for that stuff. Some people put in the chat they want to see more armor, more stuff from it. I want them to explore what really happened after Order 66. The Jedi spread out across the universe. Does he run into more Jedi? Uh, it's just stuff like that because we got a chance to see Luke, and that was a great ending
Yeah,
to
yeah.
that season. So
He
we know
just
he's the
they had a
badass
hard
of
time
that.
fighting one of those machines, and Luke just shows up and kills a whole troop
Like
of them.
what? Luke's that guy. He's the one. It's
Yeah,
like
so I mean
Neo.
that's pretty much all we got really talk on that. We will be covering that like in depth
Yeah.
when it actually does come out. But we got a little bit before that comes out. But we we had some Ant-Man information come out, King.
Oh, oh, oh. So okay, anybody that saw the new Ant-Man trailer, who saw that? Uh, I'm I send it to Addict, right? So Addict gets a chance to watch it, and Addict get a chance to finally see who Kang the Conqueror is. So Addict starts doing his homework, man. He's in the background. He's like, I want to know more about this Kang dude. Because you got to know that, coming from a non-comic book lineage,
I have
Addict is
no clue
learning
who he
most of this stuff
was.
on the fly,
I
right?
had no clue who he was. And what's funny is like I'm sitting here like he's fighting Ant-Man, and I'm like, but in the trailers it looks like he's losing. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, but then when I actually like investigate him, like he's just a man with like high tech stuff, and he's extremely intelligent. So like I'm thinking everyone's superpowers. You know what I'm saying? He's
Right,
got superhuman strength. Like he's pretty much a future Tony with like stuff that times 10 of Tony,
right.
and he knows the future too. Like
Well,
apparently to a certain degree he
to a
knows the
certain degree.
future.
I like the stuff that is the tidbits that Marvel tries to throw in there. If people ever remember, y'all remember watching the Avengers trailer, I think that was Infinity War, and the Hulk was running with the rest of the Avengers. So we assumed that it would be a redemption moment for the Hulk versus Thanos. That was never there. That was fake. That was put there in order to, banana in the tailpipe, to distract you, to throw you off, to have you writing different theories, and it worked to perfection. So in this trailer, we see Modok, and
Yeah, I did some research on him. Apparently, in this one, he's supposed to be the Yellow Jacket from the first one. That's who he's
right
supposed to be. And apparently, he's like some experimented dude from the people who was in Iron Man
from
3 and
AIM,
like that group. Yeah, AIM. And they
yeah,
turned into a giant to a giant head that has to have hover technology to move around because he's too hot top heavy now.
yeah. His brain is his head too big. His arms is the normal size. His feet is the normal size, but he got this big ass face. And Modok is a weird character to bring across, and the fact that they show Modok, um, and
They're like, we
tied
got it.
him
We want to
to
use
that.
him, but we don't want to use him.
They
Let's get
have to
him
use
out of
him
here.
though.
Apparently, they think he's not going to die in this movie. Like
Nah,
he's supposed
nah.
to eventually be like a middle person.
Yeah, Modok doesn't die. Not like that. Um, he's a very underrated character, right? And he takes over AIM at some point in time. Yo, I'm reading the super chat. He said King is gonna F blank up. Yes, he is. If you know from the Avengers cartoon show, if you know from the comic books, you pretty much know King is a very very formidable foe. So if you watch Loki's show, uh, you know exactly who King is, how they introduced him there.
So just to clarify, because I have to catch up because I didn't know who Kang was at that time.
Okay,
I didn't even know that was Kang. I thought that was just some dude that died at the end of Loki. So apparently, he in his timeline won the war between all of the Kangs, and that's why
right,
he's at the end. And
yes,
he was saying that if you kill him, you're gonna reinstigate and start that war over again.
mm-hmm.
So he was keeping them at bay.
He won and he was keeping the peace. So whatever happened in that timeline, it was a peaceful timeline. Now he said you don't know what king you're gonna get now. You don't know if you want to
Well,
get a king that just wants complete war and chaos.
I looked. Apparently, like there's good Kangs and bad Kangs, and like
Hmm.
apparently the good Kangs like started an organization, and then the bad Kangs came in and killed them all. And
Yeah. So you got Ramatut. That's a version of Kang. Who's one of the best comic book versions for
and
me.
apparently the one that's in Quantum is one of the one of the strongest Kang
Hmm.
variants. Is he like stuck there?
We don't know because I have absolutely no idea where they're taking the story. Because okay, this is the thing: Hasbro and Mattel had an issue.
Who's
One of the
Hasbro and
two,
Mattel?
huh?
Who's Hasbro and Mattel?
Toy manufacturers.
Oh, okay.
All right, Hasbro, the toy company, and Mattel, the toy company. One of the two has the license for Micronauts. Micronauts is the where the quantum verse is, right? They changed it to the quantum verse instead of the microverse. It's supposed to be the microverse. And there are the Micronauts. And the microverse, the Micronauts, is like the Avengers. We can't get those characters because either it's Hasbro or Mattel owns them and they don't want to give up those rights. They don't want to lend them out. They don't want to use them. They don't. These things has been there for a while. I had those toys a long time ago. Ton of comic books. I was a huge Micronauts fan. Now they had to find a way to tell this story with using this world that is exactly the same. We have to call it the quantum verse. We can't call it the microverse, and we can't use those wonderful characters like Bug and all the other characters that they did have established. So now they have to establish new characters and new stuff there. And what a way to bring them there is to have one of the kings there. Maybe one of the kings got locked there by another king, and he can only get out of there if he can use Ant-Man in a particular way to do so,
Well,
because
apparently he needs something
he
in
needs
there.
him for something.
Yeah,
But
that only he can unlock. Like
But
it
it
seemed
doesn't
like one
make
of
no
those.
sense if he has that yellow jacket from the other one that there. It doesn't make any sense, but it's
Well,
gonna make sense later.
maybe because if you remember at the end of Ant Man, that suit was destroyed. Like
Yeah,
it
true.
was pretty banged up. So I doubt it. Who knows? He probably got out of it at the last minute, and it just kept shrinking, even shrinking past that point. So because it to me, if Kang was able to reestablish him, he would have done it. But to me, it seemed like he built that the way it was for a reason.
Yeah,
And
I
notice
can't
there's
wait.
like a giant scar on Kang's eye.
Well, yeah, because he's a different one. He had his face split.
Yeah, so maybe that Kang and this Kang fought, and that Kang sit this Kang here.
That could be it. He could have been one of the most dangerous kings, and they
So he
put him
locked him
and locked
in
him
the
away
quantum.
into the microverse, well, into the quantum verse.
Yeah, and then ironically, Ant Man shows
Well,
up.
what I hear is we're going to get Quasar. I hope so. Quasar is a character that is a very, very strong character in the Marvel universe. He uses quantum. He has these things called the quantum bands, and those quantum bands might be the keys to releasing Kang. And so we might get a chance to see Quasar in this universe. I mean, there's been rumors, and hopefully I, man, I'm a comic book junkie, so I pray that we get all these characters and all the glory. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to that, to be honest with you.
I think it's going to be a good year. I'm actually very. I think this Ant Man is going to be one of the key things to this whole Phase 5 because for some reason I feel like Ant Man going to drop the ball and
Hmm.
let this dude out in some way, shape, or form.
But to save his daughter,
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen.
yeah, because he told her, "Oh, I don't want you to see this. You might want to look away." So, I try not to watch trailers, but I have to watch trailers now because of this show.
Hmm.
So, I try not to. I'm still that kid that likes the
Well,
wonderment. I'm still that kid that likes to be surprised. you know, with so much stuff that everybody likes to spoil on Twitter and Facebook and the internet and stuff like that. I try to keep that wonderment going still, but I can't do that too much now because we have to do that. But listen, man, we got 71 people here. We got 62 likes. I do appreciate that ratio, but let's knock it up a little bit. I'm pretty sure a couple of you guys came in here. Hit that like button, man. Please, please.
Hit
It
that like
helps
button,
us.
guys. Hit that like button.
We can bring you more stuff.
So, do you think Ant-Man's gonna die in this movie?
Yes.
You think he's gonna die?
There's always ways to bring
Or
him
is he
back.
going to get trapped in the quantum
No, I
quantum
think he's
verse?
gonna die.
That would be interesting. That's what, February the 17th or something.
Yep. I think he's gonna die.
So that's like 2 weeks from now,
But
3 weeks.
there's other ways to bring him back. Because listen, man, remember Scott Lang wasn't supposed to be. He was never Ant-Man for a long period of time. Scott Lang was a criminal who stole the Ant-Man gear, and he was Ant-Man for a very short period of time. Where but this guy's really too old to play Ant-Man. I think they're gonna pass the mantle on to his
Who's
daughter.
Pyro? Isn't
Who?
that someone that grows and shrinks?
Who?
Because I remember Pyro used to be like Pyro or something like.
No, Pyro. He's plays with fire. He's
No,
from
it's not.
he's an evil mutant who has control of fire. Hold on, free R. Kelly with the $5 super chat. Just as I predicted, the Last of Us show wasn't anything special. 6.5 out of 10. Kelly, don't reverse roles. Don't Kelly. I'm supposed to be the Sony hater. You supposed to be against me. The show is fantastic. Kelly, please, let's get right back to the script. You are the Sony lover. I'm the Sony hater. It doesn't work good if we on the same team for the crowd. It doesn't work good. Go back to being the hater of King, and I can go back to hating Kelly because Kelly, I'm opposed to you with this. Don't do this, Kelly. Come on, Kelly. Let's get back. I don't know what they put in your medication in jail, but you got to fix it up. Get right back to the Kells I love. Stop it.
So I mean, I think that's pretty much all we could talk about today. We're gonna have to definitely keep track of what happens with the Last of Us show. We actually have
I can't
some
wait.
stuff that we can talk about in terms of, movies that's coming out. We got some movies coming out next month. It's gonna be interesting, man. Weekly we are gonna talk about Last of Us for the duration of that show. I think there's 8 episodes in all. So we're gonna have 8 episodes of breaking down that show. So I hope you guys enjoy. King, you got anything to tell the chat before we head out?
I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I'm upset, but hopefully it all pays off. Keep watching the social media. I want to give a shout out to Brian who came out and actually we made that trade for that the PlayStation, for the statue. So, Wolverine is gone. And he sent me pictures and it looks dope in his collection right now, and I'm so happy for him. Listen, guys, we got some stuff that we're cooking up, and tomorrow is a big day. So, check out your social medias, check out Cog, check out myself, check out Sovereign. Just follow and see what we tweet out or what we put up, or check the Instagrams, check the TikToks, because we'll send stuff over to Attic. But be on the lookout. Very important stuff. But that's it. R&R is not tomorrow. It was today.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week when we talk about The Last of Us episode part 2.
Hold on. Gabe, aka Cal Kiddo, Kid 619 with a great $2 super chat. Tank Davis is on his way to being a boxing king. Yeah, if he can stop getting in trouble, he got to stay out of trouble to get this fight, because from what I heard in the background, I called a friend of mine. The PBC is not sending a contract over to Ryan Garcia while Tank's legal issues is going up. And that hurts. That hurts a lot, because it hurts boxing. It hurts Ryan's prospects to show if he's better than Tank or if Tank is better than Ryan. It hurts Tank's prospects in having his name clear. You don't want to have, charges around your name. So, man, I want to see a great fight. And, we got to stop getting in our way. Here's alleged stuff. So, can't wait, guys.
Yeah, we'll see you next